What's happening, guys? It is Friday, August 19th. And today I'm just going to jump right into it. It's going to be a little bit different than I'm normally talking about here. I found it really interesting. I was watching the National Real Estate Post recently, and one of the folks down there talking brought this article up. So I did some digging and started reading it. Find it very interesting what this Inflation Reduction Act brought about. We all are aware of this 87,000 IRS agents, but what I didn't understand or didn't know as you scroll through here is that you start to see that the official government watchdog of the IRS is the Treasury Inspector General for the tax administration, and he's flagged some problems with gun management of agents with the IRS. I didn't even know they carried guns before until this whole Inflation Reduction Act came out, and that there's all these new purchases of weapons that they're going to outline right here in the article. Just look this up. I'll go put it right back here. The New York Post, and they break this all down. What's also interesting is they put these links in here to the audits that they did. And you start to find some of the issues that are going up with accidental discharges, and that there's 3 out of 4 cases unreported of accidental discharges, and then that there was damage done. And I don't know anything. What else? Right. But when you start, and then you get to see how they're trained and the requirements, and it's pretty damned alarming. So why would I bring this up in a banking type of discussion? Right. Let's think about this for a second. So we have interest rates, inflation, the things we've been experiencing here has to do with the US Treasury creating money out of thin air, filtering it through the Federal Reserve Bank to go into mortgage-backed securities, to bring down to all the things that happened there. And now we've got these trillions of dollars of debt, and we have this inflation that has come as a result of all this. And so now we have this Inflation Reduction Act that came out, and part of the act is to get a lot more people, from what I understand is 3 times the size of the seating in Madison Square Gardens, arm these folks to go get more revenue, to add to the treasury, to bring down the debt. Is that how they're going to reduce inflation? I'm not certain of how this is, but I mean, those are the dots. I don't know how they connect. This is kind of interesting to me when you consider what drove inflation to begin with, and this is one of the solves. I'm not quite tracking on all that, but maybe you guys want to do some looking into yourself, come to your own conclusions of what we think is happening here. But that's some alarming stuff that is at least popping up in my mind. You know, when it comes to what's happening and what they're choosing to do with trying to combat inflation. Now, right now, we're seeing inflation being somewhat combated by just what's happening out there in the market. Now, part of it has to do, a lot of what we saw happen with inflation, at least the decline in inflation, has to do with gas prices. What happened with gas prices? Well, oil came down, right? Well, then there's a formula to see what the gas price will be, right? But this may be short-lived, our current gas price situation, because of the strategic oil reserves that were released. There's some speculation out there. We may see that jump back up again. We may see inflation jump back up again. I'm not 100% certain that we're in a downward trend. That may impact the markets negatively if it comes back up above where it is now. We saw how that did before, anticipated to go down. It came up, they freaked out. It went way up. It came down again. I don't know if it's going to stay down. So that's one of the thoughts that I have here. Let's take a look at the markets, what's going on here. We've seen that we broke below what seemed to be a pretty strong technical floor for a while now. Let's create a new ceiling. If we stay definitively below this, and I know gaps like to close. So we'll see what happens. But if we stay definitively below this, we could be in this channel again, which would push costs up on the rates that we've been offering. So as I've been telling everybody, lock, always lock. Don't worry about things. Don't look over your shoulder, just lock, because we don't know what's going to happen now. This is a big gap down that we didn't anticipate. So we'll see how this all plays out. We'll see how this inflation thing plays out. I'm not 100% certain that it's going to continue to go down. We're sitting in a recession. You know, there's thoughts that we're in a housing recession, which doesn't make a lot of sense when you start looking at how people are listing their houses, and they're coming in listing way too high. If they're listed in the right price range, they sell. but they're oversell. They're listing them too high because they're lamenting the fact they didn't sell them when it was on its way up. So they thought, well, if I just hang on to them, I make another 20, 30, 40 grand. Now they're hoping they're going to get that. They're not. They're going to have to drop their prices. That's what's happening now. We're getting to the market's going to normalize a little bit. So I'm not really worried about this so-called housing recession, but we are in an actual recession. Doesn't mean they can't go back and revise numbers to try and make it look like we're not, but that's a big ask. There's a big move they'd have to do to make that happen. So right now, have a great weekend. Enjoy the weekend. Anything you need with respect to understanding about stuff with respect to with the rates and whatever, just reach out to us. We're more than happy to have a call. Also, go to the website, aaron.chapman.com, scroll down to the donate button. Let's continue to drive money as much as we can to fight human trafficking. I mentioned before I was going to, in fact, I'm just going to do that now. Let's go take a look. Let's see what we've got here as far as those who have taken the time to go and do exactly that. Because we gotta recognize the fact that people are doing this and that they're participating, that they understand the value and being able to take up the cause and work with us on this. And so I had mentioned before how I was going to pull this up often, and I should be doing it every Friday. And so that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to pull this up and we're going to take a look at this and see what we can see with respect to those who have also taken on the charge and decided to participate with us in this, because I can't think of a better cause than this particular cause. So we're up to 45,000. So you see right here, we've had some folks here. Yeah, great. I mean, we've got Jade and Kevin, and we have an anonymous person there. As you can see here, these last few folks here that have jumped in, we appreciate you guys, David, Travis, Joey, Tom, Jess. All I can do is just keep asking for those to make this at least something that's in your mind that you're thinking about, and we continue to keep driving for an unlimited goal. 50,000 is definitely way too low. This should be an unlimited thing that we just keep doing. It's not going to affect us. 50 or 100 bucks doesn't affect our life, but it will affect the life of somebody else. So appreciate you guys. We'll talk to you again real soon.